In 513 BC, during the spring and autumn period, Dong Yi, the governor of Shaanxi County in the state of Jin, toured the Shi Mountains to investigate local customs, the people's sentiments, and public opinion. He also lectured the local grassroots officials on the principles of strict legal enforcement and stringent local governance. One day, he arrived at the Shi Mountains and saw a deep ravine in the mountain. The ravine walls were steep, like they had been cut with an axe, resembling city walls. The ravine was 100 zhang deep, extremely perilous. Dong Yi then found a local resident and asked with concern, "Has anyone ever fallen into this ravine?" The local residents replied, "No one has ever fallen in." Dong Yi asked again, "Have any ignorant children, idiots, the deaf and mute, the insane, or abnormal people ever fallen in?" The people there replied, "No, none of them either." Dong Yi continued to ask, "Have any cattle, horses, pigs, or dogs fallen in?" The people still answered no. Dong Yi found it hard to believe and, after thinking for a moment, said, "Why has no person or animal ever fallen into this deep ravine?" The people replied, "This ravine is extremely dangerous and terrifying. If anyone were to fall in, they wouldn't survive. Therefore, everyone is extremely cautious when approaching the vicinity of this ravine, often taking a detour to avoid it. No one dares to risk coming near it, and even the livestock stop and won't go forward when they see this ravine." The local people's response suddenly enlightened Dong Yi. Inspired, he clapped his hands and exclaimed, "Excellent! Now I know how to govern my subjects effectively. If I establish strict laws and enforce them rigorously without leniency, making people understand that breaking the law is as life-threatening as falling into this deep ravine, then no one will dare to violate the law. In this way, what can't I govern?" Gao Yao, 2220 BC, 2113 BC, was a leader of the Huaxia tribes in ancient times. He is revered by later generations as the first ancestor of Chinese justice. Approximately 4,200 years ago, Gao Yao established criminal laws and education, implementing the 5 punishments and the 5 teachings. The 5 teachings required that fathers be righteous, mothers be kind, elder brothers be friendly, younger brothers be respectful, and children be filial, with the hope of creating a harmonious society and a well-governed world. The 5 punishments were 5 types of physical penalties used on criminals. These punishments were supplementary. Those who exhibited extreme behavior or committed crimes were first to be reasoned with and taught. If they did not heed the education, then the law would be enforced. In the beginning, the benevolent Emperor Shun could not bear to harm the people, so he replaced actual punishments with symbolic penalties. He made criminals wear clothes and headscarves with unusual patterns to humiliate them. He also depicted the 5 punishments on objects to warn the public. Exile was sometimes used instead of the 5 punishments to show leniency and forgiveness. Whipping was used to punish commoners and officials who neglected or delayed their duties. Students who disobeyed their education were disciplined with wattle canes. There was also a system of using copper as a penalty for atonement. Accidental offenses could be forgiven, only those who committed crimes and showed no remorse were severely punished. Later on, it became evident that symbolic punishments only made morally cultivated individuals feel ashamed. However, they had little educational and deterrent effect on vile and shameless individuals, failing to improve social order. Soon, Emperor Shun had to abandon his symbolic punishment policy and support Gao Yao's practical 5 punishments policy instead. Over 4,000 years ago, in ancient China's tribal alliance society, the people not only needed a compassionate emperor but also desired a harmonious society. However, achieving harmony in society required more than just benevolent education. It also necessitated well-established legal systems and rigorous enforcement. Therefore, institutions, laws, and order were also integral parts of China's ancient cultural traditions.